Well, hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris Miller. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. It is Thursday. It's time to go do that voodoo, of course, for the week. We're getting ready for the weekend, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing Sci-Fi Friday. We're going to be talking about the final movie in the Riddick series, hopefully. Maybe. We'll talk about that a little bit today, just kind of catch up and get ready for tomorrow. Otherwise, it's going to do Thursday stuff. We'll be back in just a minute. Do you have a loved one who's on their deathbed, but they've yet to give themselves up to the Lord?
Are you sure you don't want to come to Jesus?
No.
This is your final chance.
No. Worried they're headed to the fiery pits of hell.
Your very last chance.
No. I've been wicked and sinful. I deserve to burn in the hot place.
As you wish. Farewell, my heathen husband.
Farewell, my... Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of post-mortem baptismal kits. No more worries about being miserable alone forever. Be a good Christian and share that eternal pain and suffering with the ones you love. I'm in hell. Not as hot as I thought it'd be. Kind of feels like Houston, minus the humidity. Hello. My favorite drink crafted to perfection. Ooh, and some dank ass weed.
I can't bear to be down on my face chanting, holy, holy, holy is the Lord, every day, all day, for all eternity, by myself.
Wow, is that George Carlin? And Alan Turing, look at that. Carl say, oh, I am so honored. You've been my hero since I was a kid. Neil deGrasse Tyson, what are you doing here? Oh, I get it. I get it. Schrodinger's heathen. Very cute, you. Very cute. That's fantastic. Oh, what is that? What is... It's holy water. Oh, it burns. No, this isn't where I want to be. Pabst Blue Ribbon and a Marlboro? No! Father Flanagan's post-mortem baptismal kit. Dead kid tested, Mother Teresa approved. Is that the Pope and John Paul? Jim Jones and Jimmy Swaggart, huh? I can see that coming. Neil deGrasse, what are you doing? Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
Thanks, Father Flanagan.
Damn them to an eternity in heaven for only $59.99. They wouldn't appreciate it, but you'll feel better, and that's the point, isn't it? Get yours now. Your heathen loved one's time is running out. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. This is some bullshit. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. And we are back. Good morning, everyone. I have got my wonderful co-host, Miss Ryan. There she is, doing Ryan stuff. Good morning, Ryan.
Well, hi. I'm not just getting ready or anything at all.
No, that's cool.
I'm prepared and here.
Fully prepared.
And
Obviously.
wide awake.
Clearly.
Clearly.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good so far. It's been a busy day. You know me, I get up stupid early, and I've been doing work stuff and getting things ready. Remember, I told you I was developing an app, and I fought with it for days, lady. I'm saying I got sick of it. So I nuked it this morning. Woke up. In fact, what I did was yesterday I got with one of the AIs. And I laid out the plan. It kept going, let's start building that. I'm like, no. We're going to lay out every file and everything that we need before we start. And we'd get halfway through it and go, all right, that's cool. Are you ready to start? I'm like, no. And I just went through it, and I just kicked its ass yesterday afternoon. Just kept going on and on and on. And today, I'm really kind of surprised that it remembered everything, and that it's actually still keeping track. I've been building this thing all day long. It's been going great, and I'm really surprised. It's totally different than what the first try did. It's so much better.
And what app are you using to do that?
See, that's the thing. All right, here's the deal. You want to build this application to use AWS server, Amazon Web Services, the cloud. So you got to go set that up. And then you have to start running these command line code things that download this software and installs this crap. And I can't tell you what software. There's a whole bunch of different.
So it's a lot. Okay.
There's a lot to it.
A layman like me definitely wouldn't understand.
Right. Well,
anyway,
that's the whole deal. Whenever you know the very basics, you go, you know what? I have a free AWS account and you're talking to your chat. I want to create an app that is a freemium app that allows, free people and a paid subscription. And I want it to do X. And then that app will have the AI ask you questions about what you want your app to do. And then whenever you're ready, it'll actually tell you step by step, code by code through developing your app.
Okay.
And if you have a problem, you just copy and paste it into your thing. Sounds easy. I've been at it for days.
Right. Right. I mean, anything with AI sounds easy. Oh, you just tell it what image you want, and it's going to be like no, it does not.
It's stupid. AI is stupid.
The
one thing I can give AI credit about is that if you prompt it enough, if you give it a detailed enough prompt and you're specific enough, it'll do a pretty good job about that very specific thing. It's like an analog computer. A lot of people know digital computers. They don't know an analog computer where it has just one thing it calculates. It's like a handle you crank and it calculates one thing. That's all it does. Is a digital computer, and then so whenever you give that AI that one command, it can actually do a pretty good job under that one command. So I'm kind of impressed. Let me say hello to everyone in the chat real quick. Good morning, everyone. A Goddess is here. That's you, by the way.
That's me, guys. It's me.
Equus is here. Adrian Belgrave is here. I don't want to say, I keep wanting to say every time I want to say our token Christian. I don't know how I feel about that phrase. I don't know how Adrian feels about that phrase. But I just kind of want to say it. It just kind of feels, I don't know. Anyway. Good morning, Adrian. Rainbow Ash is here. Austin Sims is here. Good morning, Austin. Thank you all for joining us. Equus, of course. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And we do have some lurkers. We got lurkers. I love our lurkers. Lurkers are cool. Thank you for lurking. And Flockmeister is here. Chick-fil-A. Chick Magnate. I'm sorry. Bad Chris. I will use one of Father Flanagan's self-logging whips later. Chick Magnate to make a penance for what I just did. As I should. Good morning, Godwin 7. Good to see you as well. All right. So let me just we want to kind of briefly talk about what's happening tomorrow. Have you and Hubs had the opportunity, or did you before he went to work?
No. But I will watch. I'll just watch it myself, like I did the other one the scary one that I watched by myself. I'll just watch it myself. That's fine. I didn't even think about it until I was like, oh crap, you're leaving and you're not going to be back in time. So I don't mind watching. Event Horizon.
Yeah, I knew exactly what you were talking about.
If anybody's been here to watch our travel through sci-fi, then they would know what I meant.
Well, you know how it is whenever you run logic. Well, whenever you said that, the scary one, the first logical process I went through was scary Riddick movies. No, she's not talking about that. Then I expanded that to movies we've watched together. I was like, oh, ding, 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 Event Horizon.
That's the process, but eventually you figure out what Ryan's trying to say, because everybody has to do that with me when I talk. It's just kind of riddly sometimes.
Well, Pitch Black really, it's got monsters in it, but I never really saw it as scary. And Event Horizon is scary. Event Horizon is like, hey, did I just shit myself? I think I may have just shit myself.
You know what? I loved about that movie, I should say, is I'm not even bothered with that movie now. Like after that, watching it, I didn't think about it the next day. I wasn't like going to bed going, oh my gosh, like I'm so scared. That heavy weight is that burden has now been lifted off of my shoulders, where I can enjoy these movies where like in the moment I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch that. I can't see that. Yeah. But I'm not, if I have a nightmare, that's just, I can't help that. But I'm not walking around like not I used to be afraid to look in the mirror sometimes after watching some movies.
Right.
I don't know if anybody else has done that, but I'm not going to look in the mirror. I'm going to wash my hands and I'm going to leave the bathroom. Like, I don't have to do that anymore. And it's really cool. It just makes me feel really good.
Good on you. Good on you. I remember being young. It's been a long time since I've had those feelings, right? I remember being young and watching things and being like, oh no, Jeebus is watching me. You know, I need to not be doing this, you know, or later on going, man, I watched that thing.
Guilt and shame.
Yeah, all kinds of that sort of thing. Yeah,
Right.
I remember that. Now nowadays I still feel guilt and shame. You know, I mean, especially when I ask please. But back then it was religion induced. It was not, you know, like you say, it was a forced guilt.
Mm-hmm.
You know? That's interesting and awesome. I think that you feel that you recognize that and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love
just
it.
moved on with your life.
Yeah, like I just like knowing that I can watch something and not have to think twice about whether it's going to just bother my conscience or maybe bring something negative into my, like the plethora of things, the myriad things that you're told can happen to you. And that's not even a thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. It's like we were talking about the religious trauma, the religion trauma syndrome, or however, religion trauma syndrome.
Exactly.
If you're watching, sorry if I messed that up. But yeah, I mean, it's like you've kind of moved through steps of that and gotten away. There are other people who are still not out of that, but you have, and that's fantastic. Wonderful. Considering how deep you were, you know, considering how into it you were for so long.
Mm-hmm. You know? The indoctrinations would get you, man.
And, you know, that's kind of something we've also talked about, you know, down the road, you know, they're going to force us to be a Christian again. Like, oh, darn, I have to be a Christian again, or I'm going to, you know, they're going to beat us or whatever. But there's no, you can't do that and have somebody, you can't make someone believe something. They might tell you they believe it. I might go, yeah, okay, I believe it. But you can't actually make, so if there were a God, I'm just saying, it would know. It would know I was lying.
Yeah.
That's right. I
And
mean,
why would you, and like even just relationship wise, as a human, I just wouldn't want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with me. Like, yeah, there might be feelings there. I might feel sad and upset that they don't want to be with me. But if I had a weapon and I could force them to stay with me the rest of their lives just to appease me, would I? No, I would not want that. So why would God want to hold our lives hostage, basically holding us over hell, going, dangling us over there?
Love me or else.
Or love me or else. That's not a good relationship.
Good view. Yeah, and you know and that really, I feel like that spans regardless of what they seem to think hell is. If it's a Christian out there who believes in the hellfire and burning, fine, it covers that. If they're just a Christian who believes in separation between you and God, same. I mean, if it's a punishment eternal, a void that you would regret, and you know, I mean, it's just, they can't really move away from that. Hey, Keylight Systems, good morning. Thank you for being here. Don't worry, it'll be okay. It washes off. Yes.
Maybe.
You know, there for a while, it actually showed the correct names in the chat. It really did. It did. For like when I first got here this morning, I know, because I was like, oh, hey, look at that. It's showing the right names. But it's no longer doing that. Thus, it is no longer. So, good morning. Welcome, fellow burner, Keylight Systems. Interesting. Cool. Fellow heathen. Welcome to the Damnation, the Daily Atheist Morning Show. Thank you for joining us. So today, all right, so that's cool. I dig it on you about that's where you're willing to watch the movie. So, you know, I guess I better step up and watch it. I ended up watching the rest of the second one after. So if you're new here, if you hadn't been paying attention, on Fridays we do Sci-Fi Friday, and stop by, and we tend to review movies. And what we've been doing these past few weeks is we've been reviewing the movies from the Riddick series, Pitch Black first, Chronicles of Riddick second, and then tomorrow we're going to talk about the third movie, Riddick. So join us for that and all that business. Now, what we may do is we shift to different topics. You know, every week we find a different movie or something to talk about. So there's things. One of the things I'd like to get, of course, we got to finish wrapping up about Stargate, because you're pretty much done with Stargate. You're almost there with Stargate SG-1.
Yeah,
anyway.
we're getting close.
Yeah. And then Atlantis, do you know how far into Atlantis you are season-wise?
The last episode we watched, what's his name? The guy who's kind of like the Jack on Atlantis.
Yeah.
That guy, the cap, whatever. He got Shepherd got gripped up by a wraith girl that a man had raised, and nobody in the tribe or whatever had known that she was living there, and she actually was feeding off the people, but they thought it was another wraith that was living there. Anyway, so he got gripped up by her and poisoned by her blood, so he started changing into a devolving into a wraith or something like that.
Interesting.
So that was the last episode.
Okay. I have to be honest, I don't remember.
No.
I don't remember. I've seen Atlantis. I think I've seen it twice. The first time it came out, and then once with the evil one, where she determined that was her favorite series. I'm sure we watched it to the end. I'm sure we did. I don't really remember. I don't remember a lot. Yeah. I was traumatized. I was drugged through it like being drugged through a mesquite bush. But then, soon you'll be after a Stargate Universe, and that'll be your final series. It's really, I think it's just one season. Jen with one N. Good morning, Jen. It's been a day or three. Thank you for joining us this morning. Bear Thalmus is here again. I thought I smelled something. Good morning, Bear Thalmus. Thank you for joining us. Oh, let's see. And Ember. For those of you who are unawares, I lost my mouse. For those of you who are unawares, after this stream ends, it'll automatically flip you over to Ember. Better with Ember. She's got awesome stuff to talk about. Mm-hmm. So let me see. Glenn is here this morning. I'm just looking to see if our newbies responded to any of the things. Were they too traumatized? Therapists are standing by. I just don't see any responses. Maybe they got, I don't see anything yet. They just ran away screaming. They're like, "Fuck, what the hell's going on here? Am I going to hell for watching this?" And they shut it off. Yes. So there you go. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow is Riddick. I don't want to get too wrapped up in it today, because I will sit here and talk sci-fi all day long. And my mind has been so wrapped up in this AI and application stuff and all that business that I could talk about it all the time too, and nobody wants to hear about that. So that's why I made the topic of the day, Christianity demon worship. And that's one of the things we've kind of bounced on before, is that if you read the Bible, if you just like, all right, not Jesus, right? We're talking about God. When you look at the actions of God, whom Jesus worships as the Father, am I mistaken, Ryan? Did I get that wrong? Jesus worships God as the Father because he's a Jew, right? Okay, so anyway, so the God of the Bible is fucking horrific. I mean, it just wipes out people. It tells you to have slaves. It tells you to rape girls and have it's just a horrific creature. So is it more like a loving, kind, wise father, or is it more like the pit demon that most Christians think about when they think about Satan and his minions? That's kind of what we're bouncing off today. Yeah, for those newbies. Yeah, and that's kind of how I kind of came up with that. With me, I actually have my own series called the Evil God Monster of Abraham series.
Indeed.
And it's really just a critique of the Bible, the creature of the Bible. What, Miss Ryan, are your thoughts? I mean, you come from a specific Jehovah's Witness background, and in your background, it was all about the end is near. Everybody's going to die. Right. You're going to die. You're going to die. That sort of thing.
You all get to die. Yeah.
Right. So what's the image that you had as a Jehovah's Witness in your mind whenever you thought of the God creature?
I struggled with that. I struggled to rationalize that, to figure out how I was supposed to compensate between what I'm reading in the Bible, this dude just slaughtering babies, slaughtering kids my age.
Yeah.
But being told by Jesus, no, this is love. This is good. We want this to happen. And I can't say that I really loved Jehovah, nor did I necessarily love Jesus. I think I like Jesus better than Jehovah, but that kind of leads you into a little guilt trippy because you're not supposed to put Jesus above Jehovah in with the JW beliefs, or you're idolizing Jesus more than God. So like,
that makes sense. And that may be why some people that's why maybe some people try to put Jesus and God together. That way they can get around that because they want to worship Jesus so much. But you can't do that because now you worship Jesus above God, and therefore Jesus is God. That solves that problem.
Yes. Basically, I think that's probably why a lot of people do it. It gives like, not only does like Judaism give Christianity the historicity they need, but it gives it like a idea of austere, like, oh, this has been around for so long. And I mean, yeah, Yahweh was a piece of crap, but this new guy, he kind of came along and made it all better. So now we get to keep this long history and pretend like it's really ours. And it's just a lot of overcomplication.
That's right. And we get to keep our foreskins now.
Yeah. I mean, even better. Like now you're going to get far more converts and probably a ton more donations.
I love that. I remember when I realized that. For those of you who don't know, the first covenant, you gave up your foreskin. The second covenant, you were allowed to keep it. I'm not kidding. That's really what it boils down to. When you look past all the fluff, the second covenant, you get to keep your foreskin. That way they could get Gentiles into the faith. Gentiles were afraid of losing their probably the best part of what they had going on. We have a super chat. Would you like to read out the super chat?
Sure. Godwin for 199 says, as a sci-fi fan, have you seen His Dark Materials? That's a personal question.
Really, right. Well,
no, I haven't even heard of that.
She's a subscriber to my OnlyFans, so she's seen it all. I'm writing this down, actually, guys. Kidding aside, I've never heard of His Dark Materials.
Me either.
Sounds interesting. I am intrigued. There you go. Well, is that a movie, a series?
Drama series.
Hook me. Oh, drama series? See. Oh, it is a series. I have not heard of it. I have not heard. Me and the Evil One are actually considering back, sort of like you. You and Hubs, and I understand, bounced off the first season of Deep Space Nine and kind of moved on. Me and the Evil One did that too. We did it with Fringe. And there are so many people out there who say Fringe is so good that we really need to plod on. And I sit here and I tell you, Deep Space Nine is really good. You should plod on. And then me and the wife are going, listen to these people who say, because the first season was kind of rough. And people are going, you need to keep going.
Yeah.
So we really probably ought to. Rainbow Ash says, loved Fringe. But remember, I just want to say that Godwin says, not just keep other people's foreskins like David. That's true. So the Fringe was being made around the same time that Castle was coming out. And one of the things that I really had a hard time about Fringe is they would do some really stupid stuff in season one. I don't know about the rest of the seasons, but there were times like this lady was murdered. Let's take her cornea or her eye, her whatever, and let's look at the last thing she saw. And you actually got to see her last moments. You saw she looked off at a bridge, and then she got put down by this guy, and she was looking up, and she saw things in the chair at the ceiling. There was a saw coming at her. All of these things. And so they use her eye, and the last image it captured was the bridge. And they use the angle of the image of the bridge to determine her look. I'm like, this is just so fucking stupid. It was so fucking stupid. And they did that like 2 or 3 times in the show, and it hurt my brain.
You got annoyed with it.
And in Castle, I think I've mentioned it on this show, Castle being filmed around the same time, he walks into a room, there's a murder scene, and there is a fish tank, and there's a fish in there. And he's like, if this were some weird sci-fi show, we'd just take that fish's eye and see what it saw, see who the killer was. I feel like he was picking on that other show that was filmed.
So. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty much like that.
Next Generation will always be my favorite Star Trek. Picard is that ninja. You know, Picard was my first, man. I gotta say, really my first.
I did really enjoy Next Generation.
As a little kid, I was exposed to Shatner and all the originals before Picard. But I remember being a teen and seeing, oh, hey, look, here's on the front of TV Guide, they're coming out with a new Star Trek. And I was all about it. The new Enterprise looked, like a new Ferrari, where the old one looked like a 1957 Chevy kind of situation. I just felt like that was a thing.
Yeah. The first time when you get to like watch some of your favorite shows, it's cool.
So that was my favorite. That's my they call it the fat one. If you watch Picard, when they reference the Enterprise D, they're like, oh, the fat one, because the rest of them are kind of skinny, but Enterprise D's got the big wide hull.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that class. So the Galaxy class, I think it's not the Enterprise D, but it's actually the Galaxy class. Yeah. Let's see. I saw something in here, I thought.
Any comments?
Dark Material. Oh, his Dark Materials is Atheist Pornography, 3 seasons. Really?
Oh.
I didn't know they made Atheist Pornography. At first, you had my attention. No, how's it go? How's that little phrase go? At first, you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention. Yeah, that's it. His Dark Materials. Be checking that one right after the show.
And it's rather recent too. Not that long.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
Wow.
2019 it looks like is when it started.
Oh. Jen says soft poured. I see. Okay. That's interesting. Soft core kind of situation. Was never my bag. I guess I was like, what is that? What was it called? Showtime After Dark, something like that.
Oh, I can't remember, but I do know what you're talking about.
Back when they would show boobies on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, they showed lots of boobies.
Max at night, or
something.
No.
Yeah, something like that.
HBO, no.
HBO had one too. I think it had its after hours thing too. I think it was Cinemax.
Cinemax? Yeah, because they called it Skinemax.
Skinemax. Yeah.
Skinemax. Double G Videos knows.
There you go, Glenn. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, that's how old I am. I rubbed one out to the original. Anyway, moving on.
I couldn't afford HBO.
Yeah, that was kind of a thing, wasn't it? I remember seeing the lines because we lived out in the country, like 7 miles outside the city. So we would see them putting the poles in and the cable lines coming to our little tiny shit community, trailer house community. I remember seeing it, those lines coming down the road, watching it every day. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then when they got there, we couldn't actually afford the cable. So we didn't get it. It was out there at the pole. So if we wanted it and we could afford it,
right,
we could have it.
And that's a shame because back then you probably could have just easily theft.
Oh, well, we did. Yeah, that was that.
Oh, yeah.
Not at that point. No. Whenever we got older. At that point, I was like 6 or 7, 6 to 10. Somewhere. No, we didn't theft. My older brother probably did, but we didn't do that. Not at that point. Later on, though, absolutely. You get those little thingies.
Yeah, the little box thing that you can hook into, and
Yep. There was things. Let's see. Kelly Laughlin is here. Good morning, Kelly Laughlin. Tawhid is here this morning. Good morning, Tawhid. Nowhere in the New Testament prophet Jesus claimed divinity. Did he? I don't know. I don't think
I feel like I could make that argument, but
yeah. I think here's what I think has kind of happened. I think there have been times he had compared himself to the divine. I think it's more that he did that, I am like the Father, rather. I don't think he actually may have claimed specifically, I am divine. He was just like going, you know what? This is what divine looks like. And this is what I look like. And it's the same. I think he did some of that.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever actually said I'm divine.
He would say things that Yahweh allegedly said, like when Yahweh is when Moses and Yahweh have that conversation about his name, and he's basically I am, like that's who God is.
Oh yeah,
he's the I am, and Jesus, is it the Pharaoh? No, the Pharisees, excuse me. I think the Pharisees ask him something, and he says something like, he says, I am. And there's a few other instances where it's very similar, where it's like, is he or isn't he? Is that intentional? Like, are you saying that because you want them to be mad at you and you want them to kill you, or because you actually think that something is?
That's it. Yeah. It's like he never actually said it, but he said it so much so that other people say, I'm pretty sure that Tawhidism is correct. Tawhid Islam is correct about the same thing about it. He actually never said it. That is interesting. Really, though, did he do any of that? Or did Paul say it? Pardon me, I'm being smited by the Lord. So
no, that's not Paul's stuff. That's not Paul's stuff. That's the Gospels, probably.
Okay. Oh, okay. 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 Good. Because I never know. I haven't gotten that far in the Bible yet because I'm slow.
Well, Paul doesn't really talk too much honestly, he doesn't really talk that much about Jesus' life. He's just more telling people what they need to fucking do.
I see.
It's more about him and making sure people are following what's supposed to be done. That's how I see it.
Gotcha. Kelly Laughlin says, I am the Son of Man. What does that mean? That doesn't mean I'm God, though, does it? Tawhid says, if he was actually God in the flesh, he would have clearly claimed divinity. Why so much ambiguity? That's not a bad.
They probably would have came out and murked him like straight off the bat. There wouldn't have been like waiting around. They probably would have gripped that mother effer up. Just saying.
Yeah. But if we just kind of put this notion forth that if he were God, then they couldn't or wouldn't. I'm just saying, if he's just a normal guy faking it, I guess he probably wouldn't go that far because he was afraid. But if he were God, I think, why not? Just
go for it.
Why not? Go for it. Yeah. Isn't it interesting that like he put his son through all that shit and it gave the devil the earth? That's crazy. What's that?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Why? Because we put it there for me. I couldn't remember what it says, but he says, before Abraham was, I am. So basically, before Abraham, I am, I'm God. But again, you could say that he means something different when he said, again, I feel like you can make arguments for a lot of different things when it comes to Jesus.
So Abraham was the beginning. And so in his mind, Abraham was the beginning. So before Abraham, I am. So he hadn't heard of Noah. And I guess
Abraham is maybe considered the seed. I guess he's
the first covenant.
Yeah, I guess so. That's why they start there. But it's kind of like, that's not kind of fair to all the other dudes either, though. I'm just saying.
It really mentions. Kelly Laughlin says the Son of Man is mentioned 82 times in the New Testament. There you go. So who is the Son of Man? Does that depend in which context?
I can't remember what it means. It has some kind of significance, but I can't remember.
It does. Ambushed Apostate Seth is here. Good morning, Seth. Equus says, we don't know what Jesus actually said. He didn't write anything down, and neither did his fathers. It's all just hearsay. That is so true. Most of the people around here kind of know that anytime I say that, I'm just giving them the benefit of doubt. Sorry, your neck and shoulder. Oh, are you itchy? You got stress from the move, huh? Did you pull a muscle?
No, the other day I did it was Monday. I kind of bothered my arm and shoulder move and stuff, but then Monday is, I guess is it shoulders? I think it's shoulders or no, arms and shoulders day. Anyway, sorry guys. And I was doing an exercise that bothered me, but I wasn't sure if it was, I didn't know if I was hurting myself or if it was just because I had hurt myself over the weekend, if you know what I'm saying. Right. So I actually kind of just hurt myself further. So that's what happened. Long story short. It
just exacerbated it.
Thank you.
That's cool. That's a big word. I know big words. Good morning, Alwise 13. I know big words. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go get some coffee real quick. We'll be right back. Enjoy this little commercial break and stick with us. We'll be right back.
Flanagan!
Yes, sir. Very disturbing, I know.
Fetch me Father Flanagan.
Your Highness.
You are in the presence of His Holiness, the Puppius Maximus, guardian of the sacred fire hydrant, defender of the holy tennis ball, and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poopsalop the Fifth.
Your popedom. I heard you have a bone to pick with me.
Condoms, Father Flanagan?
No, thank you. I've got plenty.
That's what I mean. Why are you selling condoms?
Oh, you mean our Pharaoh Sombrero line of condoms? Understood.
You know how we feel about those around here.
Well, they're not to be used by the Catholics, of course.
Not for Catholics?
No, they're part of our Sinner Gonna Sin lack of faith outreach program.
A sinner gonna what?
It's like getting the tithe, but from the heretics and the heathens and the atheists.
Oh, well, when you put it like that.
But, Your Highness, this will reflect very poorly on the church.
True. You know what this means, Flanagan?
Warning label, a warning label on the box, not for Catholics in big letters.
Too subtle.
Instant purgatory if used by Catholics.
I like it. Divine branding.
Excellent, your popedom. Would there be anything else?
That will be all. You may leave.
All right. Yeah, so welcome back, folks. Thank you for that. I hope you enjoyed the little commercial. That's kind of a shorter one. Ms. Ryan isn't back yet. She's off hiding. Let's see. People call me son of a gun, theoretically. You know, I've often been kind of confused by the son of man thing, too. There are various different ways. I'm sure it's all hidden code, super secret. One of the things that we've heard about is the mysteries. I've also remember where, isn't it Jesus that actually says, you know, I speak in parables intentionally so people won't understand me? I think, you know, if you were making shit up and you kind of wanted to fool a lot of people, that'd be a good way to go. This is why it doesn't make sense to you. But just know that I got my shit together on a godly level. In the Gospel of John, because we broke to Tawhidism, Islam, says in the Gospel of John, Jesus uses the phrase "I am," ergo emini in Greek, eimi in Greek, in a way that recalls God's self-designation to Moses in Exodus 3:14. I am who I am. I just want to point out that regardless of anything, Jesus didn't do any of that, of course. And here's the tricky part that some people may have a hard time dealing with. Even if he did say that, it doesn't mean it's true. It does not mean that he's the real one. Oh, there she is. Welcome back.
My bad.
Nah, that
I
was a short
my
commercial.
meds.
Oh, did you? Yeah, we need you to have your meds.
Gotta have my meds, guys.
That's right. Let's see. Matthew 13:14 is the explanation of why he speaks in parables, says Adrian Belgrave. You know, man, I'm not going to look that up. You might want to type it out or some shit. Okay, I might look it up. Matthew is why he speaks in parables. I like this. This is fun. This is
What's happening?
This is why I speak to them in parables, says Jesus. Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. Let's see. Jesus is explaining. Oh, I see. It's going to break it down for you. Is Jesus explaining his use of parables, stating he speaks in them because seeing, they do not see, and hearing, they do not hear, nor do they understand. Talking about everybody else that doesn't believe his bullshit. This is because their hearts are hardened. Because they don't believe the bullshit. It's just anybody that doesn't believe it, like, oh, yeah, all right. We don't believe it. Sure enough. Go ahead. Their hearts are hardened. a fulfillment of the prophecy in Isaiah whenever some other guy out on the street holding a cup, shaking a pencil, going, the end is near, said, you know what? They're not going to believe the next guy who's holding the cup saying the end is near and eating grasshoppers. I'm just saying, it's not hard to predict. Anyway, here we go. To fulfill the prophecy in Isaiah. Ooh, let's see what the prophecy in Isaiah 9:6 was. I haven't actually bothered to read the first prophecy, scripture. So let's see here. The passage where God commands the prophet Isaiah to deliver a message to the people who will not understand or perceive his words due to their hardened hearts. Doesn't that seem like useless? That seems kind of useless, doesn't it? Why?
And why are their hearts hardened?
Why? Well, I suspect. Okay,
was it God again?
That's a great one. I actually suspect there. Yeah, that's a good question, isn't it? If it wasn't God, then it was just them hardening their own hearts. You just did. That's a good question. Let's see what it says. Be ever hearing, but never understanding. Be ever seeing, but never perceiving. See, that's the kind of deal. Essentially, going, listen, man, our religion is bullshit nuts. People aren't going to believe it, and this is how we explain it to people who don't believe. This is what we say, because of course they're not going to believe it. They don't believe what we say is the truth. We tell them the truth, but they don't hear the truth because they don't want to believe the truth, which of course is not the truth. Keep going, Chris, to verse 15. Oh, let me just go back and actually read it. Yeah, let's do that.
This is Matthew?
Matthew 13 through 14. Whoever will be given more, they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even when they have, will be taken from them. That's a fucked up thing to do. This is why I speak to them in parables. Let's just go back and restart that entire paragraph, in fact. Let's go. The disciples came to him and asked, why do you speak to the people in parables? He replied, because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. I just said that. Whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. This is why I speak in parables.
Right? Okay. Don't you understand now? Do you get it? Don't you get it?
Clear. That's so clear now. And then it says, though seeing, it's like he sings to them. It's like he begins to sing to them. It's like a musical. Though seeing, they do not sing. Notice it's written in verse, by the way, if you're following along, it's written in verse. Though seeing, they do not sing. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. In them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah that we talked about a minute ago. The prophecy, I don't think it was a prophecy. It was actually telling what was happening to Isaiah. Am I right? Let me go back and look. That's what was happening to Isaiah. It wasn't saying it was going to happen to someone else. Yeah, it's not a prophecy. It says Isaiah 6, 9 through 10 is a passage where God commands the prophet Isaiah to deliver a message to a people who will not understand or perceive. That's not a prophecy. It's a repeat event. That's not back then saying God is saying, hey, guess what? Sometime in the far future, there's going to be a man delivering messages to people who don't understand. That would be a prophecy. His name is Jesus. That would be a prophecy. This is not a prophecy. This is just telling a story. And this is another example, Adrian, pardon me for speaking directly to you. This is another example because I've just discovered to you that that's literally not a prophecy. And because it's not a prophecy, does that bring any doubt? That was one of the, how many times do they do that where they go back to you and they use something like that they twist and make it seem like it fulfills Jesus's message, but it really doesn't. Go look up the one about the stripes. You'll know him by his stripes. Yeah, the guy in the Old Testament getting stripes was getting stripes for being a thief or some business and had nothing to do with Jesus or any of that. This is clearly not prophecy. There's no way that's even remotely prophecy. This is just telling a story. But let's go back to this. Though seeing so then in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. Again, it's not a prophecy, right? Even we just fucked up the Bible itself, didn't we? I thought I was fucking up somebody's text in the chat. It's literally the Bible says it's a fulfilled prophecy of Isaiah. You will be ever hearing, but it's not a prophecy. It's a story.
Right.
Telling of what happened to Isaiah.
They do that often, though.
They do. This is actually literally the Bible itself doing that. The New Testament doing that about the Old Testament. Anyway, you will be ever hearing, but never understanding. You'll be ever seeing, but never perceiving. For the people's hearts has become callous because they don't believe your bullshit is essentially what that says. They hardly hear with their ears and they have closed their eyes. I just talked about this. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and I would heal them. You know, that's not, first of all, it's not a prophecy. We covered that. And second of all, I just kind of mentioned that that's not really a good excuse, is it, for speaking in parables? I mean, there are better reasons for speaking in parables. It would have been a better reason to speak in code, to try to tell people that he was going to this place to do that. But to speak in a parable just because somebody's not going to believe you, it's like saying, I'm going to speak in Babel because they're not going to believe us, even if I speak the regular language. If I tell them in English, they're not going to believe me because it's really bullshit. So I'm just going to speak in parables. That way they can't call me out on my bullshit. That's really kind of, yeah.
You know what's interesting? Like in these stories, I have to say although I don't like them, I think they are confusing. In a way, they're written well enough that they put us like in the audience as that audience. So now we're the people who are amongst Jesus. We're witnessing his miracles, allegedly, right? Like we're seeing him do all these supernatural, miraculous things, but we are still not believe. Like we still just won't accept. We still won't believe. That's what they're trying to make us feel like we would be that person because we'd be just as stupid witnessing all this crazy stuff and not accepting it for the truth. Yeah. But it's all it is really is what it tells you exactly what it is. They've taken a story from Isaiah and they've now kind of reattributed it to Jesus, where now he's the one from God speaking this message to the people that they won't be willing to. It's just an adaptation. It's super cool. Like, I think it's like,
in a way, yeah.
I probably couldn't fucking do that shit back then. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like back then.
The person who wrote this at least had access to that older book or knew about the older story.
He at least had some idea of the story. Right. But you can tell that they don't know them as well as we know them.
Right. Oh, no doubt. Very true. Very true. I think if they did, then if the guy who wrote the one would have really, why didn't they name Jesus Emmanuel?
Right. Because it literally...
Right? Am I right or am I right? Or am I right? I mean, for those of you who out there who don't know, Chris, I hear your argument. I don't know why either. Christ explained the kingdom of God in parables, but I personally understand his parables. The parables of the weeds is another. Well, we'll have to check that out later, man, as we go along.
What?
Yes. What did I just say? We were talking about that. You were like, oh yeah, blah blah blah.
The parables and Jesus just being another adapted Isaiah.
Gosh. Yeah. Well, yeah. Why didn't they name him Emmanuel? Why isn't his name
Emmanuel? Exactly.
That's a perfectly good example where Christians will try to jam in there and they'll say, oh, his name is Emmanuel, but they'll even go, Jesus he's prophesied in the book and she has the baby, and they'll call out his name and his name will be Emmanuel. And they'll go, look, isn't that prophecy? I'm like, no, that's not Jesus. They didn't call out Jesus. They didn't call out Jesus. Neither did they call out Jesus, which omitted prophecy, nor was the baby named Emmanuel, which would have been prophecy. Either one of those would have been prophecy outside of, one of them, though, is that clearly all they had to do is hear of the word Emmanuel and name their baby that. That doesn't make it godly or any of that business.
And it's kind of interesting. I mean, it doesn't really even matter, but just where my brain goes is Emmanuel is a L name and Jesus is more of a Yahweh name, which I find interesting. Not that it means anything, but kind of interesting.
Yeah. 14:24 through 30. Adrian, I mean, I don't know that reading more of the nonsense will help me. I appreciate you. I mean, it's like we went through this right here, and it's essentially what we talked about. Listen, man, me and you, here you go. We're going to create this religion, and it's going to sound nuts to other people. They're going to call us fucking stupid, and they're not going to believe. So we're just going to essentially say, you know what? You don't believe because you don't understand. You don't hear God, so you don't understand. And that's. And then whenever those people start to call us out for the bullshit, then we start doing the whole parable thing. Oh, no, now it's parables, so they don't understand what we're trying to say. What really is just a bunch of bullshit, man. If it were the power of God, they would not need parables. Would not need that shit. Wouldn't need it. Why would you need it? Matter of fact, and I've covered this on the show before. If you were God, there would be nothing ambiguous in the Bible. If there were a real God, there would be nothing ambiguous. You know, it would all be very plain, very clear, matter of fact, it'd probably be written in a single language that everybody could understand. There would only be one interpretation because it's God's interpretation, period. This notion that it is the way it is what happened is sometime in time, people were back there believing in all kinds of bullshit. Like, you know, and then somebody said, oh, this is the period in time that we think is right. And all those people in time thought gods were right. And now, so we keep referring back to that, to their ancient book, going, oh, this is the way it is.
Why did God allegedly confuse the language of the people so they could not have that kind of knowledge? Like, God only has himself to blame. I mean, actually, I think there was gods there at that time. It wasn't just Yahweh. It was like a divine council again. But it's kind of like, you brought this upon yourself, bud. They could have had a universal language where they could understand you. But now everybody's speaking a different language, allegedly.
That's right. But you know why he didn't was exactly kind of for that. His whole notion, it even says so. Because the Bible tells me so. It says that I will do this. It actually kind of makes it sound good. He's like, look at these people. Look what they've done. Wow, look at this. I'm going to confuse their language. It's like, it almost sounds like he's proud of them, except for whenever he's writing out the things that you would think he's proud of. Look at all these things they've built. He's really getting scared. He's going, oh my God, look how advanced and how far along they've come. This is horrific. And he goes, let's confuse their languages. They never once, I was told as a kid that they claimed they were trying to reach the sky or reach heaven so they could talk to God or be God. That's never, ever mentioned. Ever is that mentioned by God or the people in the Bible, in the book. None of that is ever mentioned. The only thing it ever talks about is that he was like, oh, fuck.
He was jealous.
Yeah.
It was all the gods, but it was him mostly. He said, these humans are able to accomplish all these fantastical feats. They're becoming just like one of us. So we can't let that happen.
Right.
So it was all, I mean, every time he destroys people, it's practically out of jealousy because they didn't worship him. They didn't do something the right way when it comes to worship of him, or they didn't give their worship to him because a little baby.
Let me bring this out. Go or come, let us go down and therefore confound their language that they may not understand each other's speech. Let me find the rest of it. This is just the single thing. Hold on a second. Give me the whole Genesis. Yeah, Genesis 11.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. All right. So now the whole world had one language and a common speech. That's cool, right? That's actually kind of what I just said. If there were one God, that would be the deal. As people moved eastward, they found plain, blah, 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 blah. Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly. They used brick instead of stone and tar for mortar. They said, come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens so that we may make a name for ourselves. That's all they said. That we may make, and I don't really see where that's a problem because that's actually a goal for all of the prophets of God, is to make a name for themselves and have their family longevity. Anyway, so we go on. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building, okay? The Lord said, if as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Doesn't that sound fantastic? The Lord is saying nothing you plan will be impossible for you if you all have the same language. And then he's like, come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other. The very next line. So the Lord scattered them to be all over the earth and they stopped building the city. That is why it was called Babel. You see what I mean? Even in its God's own book, it's right. Look at this. What you would think a good, loving, peaceful God, fatherly, wise, would want their people. It even describes it as a good thing. And then is like, and God said, fuck that. Let's go kick over their little sand castle. Like ants and the little ant.
Think of how many times humanity has regressed because of this God.
Oh,
how many times have we started over as humanity from scratch because of this God?
One way or another. Or how has it held us back in one fashion or another?
Basically, that's what he's done. He's made us stupid. If anything, that's is the one who should be held responsible for keeping mankind stupid, so that way we can't get on his level.
Isn't that crazy? Because that's exactly the sin of Adam and Eve. Gaining knowledge. You're becoming no longer ignorant.
Wow. Really think about what this book is.
Yeah. It's very interesting. But the deal is that people have used so much language and so much pressure, intimidation, if you will, even to push off a message about this God that is not true. So you walk around thinking, oh, Jesus loves me and I'm going to go to heaven. It's going to be all wonderful, but not without actually realizing what the book says, what you actually face and what the circumstances are. You have one choice: believe in God or die. That's the choice. That's the options of that choice. Believe in God or die. I mean, that's not a choice. That's not really a choice. That's the whole, I had a choice. I could give them all my money, or he was going to shoot me in the head. Is that a choice? I mean, it's a choice. Would you make it? It's not really a choice, though, is it? Because they're still going to take the money. You're just going to lose your life.
No. Chris, you're hungry, and I'm going to make a shit sandwich, or I'm going to make a normal sandwich. It's like, you're not going to choose the shit sandwich. It's just not what you're going to choose. It's like not a choice whatsoever. That is not a choice, no matter how you slice it, no matter how you slice that sandwich.
Yeah. But they make that other sandwich sound a lot better than it actually is.
Well, they do.
Yeah. It's not just a sandwich. It's like a 4-course meal and all this business, that all the people you hate won't get to sit at. I'm a bad man. I am a bad man. Let's take a little bit of a break. Let's do Wild Bill 2 for the people. We'll be back in just a few minutes, guys. We'll do the rest of this thing. Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare with a Redneck. Finally, I'm Wild Bill Wigglestick, and this is my trusty sidekick, Willie the Kid. And we'll be your handsome hosts, your gilded guide, your cowboys, concierges to Shakespeare. Oh, how cute. Wait, is that at 2, Ollie? Run along, little doggy. Bill, where the hell have you been? Well, I've been roaming the earth, going back and forth upon it, to and fro and whatnot. I like to travel too. Wait a second. Yep, back and forth upon earth, doing unto others before they do unto me. Bill, are you quoting the Bible? Trying to quote the Bible? Indeed I am. Despite my appearance, I am a man of culture and know many things, not just Shakespeare. Really? So you have a Shakespeare monologue related to atheism or skepticism? Indeed I do. Bear witness. Oh, this is going to be good. This is the excellent foppery of the world, that when we are sick in fortune, often the product of our own behavior, we make guilty of our disasters the sun, the moon, and stars, as if we were villains on necessity, fools by heavenly compulsion, knaves, thieves, and treacherous by spherical predominance, drunkards, liars, and adulterers by an enforced obedience of planetary influence. And all that we are evil in by a divine thrusting on. An admirable evasion of whoremaster man to lay his goatish disposition to the charge of a star. My father compounded with my mother under the dragon's tail,
and my nativity was under Ursa Major, so that it follows I am rough and lecherous. I should have been that I am had the maidenliest star in the firmament twinkled on my bastardizing. Wow, that really is spot on about what we cover here on the channel, about how, people. So here's a quick rundown of the situation. Bill, this non-believer, ignores the teachings of his learned father and ends up getting 4 people killed. Bill, that's not... Okay, carry on. Shakespeare was a heathenistic non-believer bound for the fiery pits of hell, just like yourselves. I don't think. And in order to throw the murderous church of the time off his heathen trail, he writes the skeptic as a sneaking, lying, adulterated father and brother, hating and betraying villain who ends up getting his comeuppance in the end. Bill, oh, come on, man. You're always blah, blah, Bible stuff, blah, blah, boring. You got to spice things up. Bill, tacos are spicy. Everybody loves tacos. Bill, tacos and boobies. Okay, you're not wrong there either. Tasty and delicious culture, baby, coming at you. Avoid the storm of familial discontent. Blow winds and clap your cheeks by clicking that subscribe button and hitting that. Wait a second. Don't you mean crack your cheeks? Nope. Bill. Send safely, my friends. Take care.
Peace.
Here we are. All right. So, I noticed. Don't tell everybody that, Bill. I mean, John. Bill is around here somewhere. Anyway, I noticed your comment, Tawhid, about how we have no solid historical evidence for Prophet Musa. I think you mean Jesus, but we do have solid evidence for Prophet Muhammad, his existence, and having various wars with his enemies like pagans and Christians. Having various wars, though, followers having wars does not existence prove. Jesus has followers. They had wars. That doesn't mean Jesus is real. Now, I would probably lean to the notion that Muhammad was probably a real person. If I had to say so, I'd probably say he was, based on what I know of the thing.
Yeah, I at some point I do want to research more, and I just want to know more in general about the religion. But I still have so much to learn about the Bible. I feel like I need to do.
Yeah. Well, there are instances where Muhammad did take his followers into battle between Mecca and Medina. There were struggles between there, and then struggles to take over all of Saudi Arabia and get rid of the moon god and the star god, the moon goddess and star goddess worship kind of thing. Get that stuff out of there. They kind of went to war for that. But like Muhammad personally beheaded between 600 and 900 unarmed people who were captured personally himself. Beheaded. Damn.
That's a lot.
My understanding is they're probably, I think it's Medina, maybe. There is, if it's true and the story is true, then there is a mass grave with all these people in it in one of these cities. So there's that, and and that's one of the things that I just makes me really, really difficult to believe. And then there's stories about, of course, naturally, us atheists, we always have to bash on Aisha. We always got to go there, we always got to go there. And that they hate when we go to Aisha, because she was 6 when they got married, 6 years old, when Muhammad personally picked her out. Now, that doesn't even mean, you could argue, well, they didn't consummate the marriage until later. You could always say that, but still, the man picked out a 6-year-old girl. Second of all, he allegedly consummated that marriage when she was 9 years old. This is according to their own texts and their own. Now, they try to change it nowadays, and they try to interpret it differently to where they make her older, but no, that's not what it says. And my understanding, we've got the Quran and we've also got the Hadith. And in the Hadith, there are stories where she describes as a young girl scraping the semen from the inside of his robes. There are things about Muhammad and the stories that I don't think a lot of people really know about. And I don't really talk about it that much here on the show because they get they get mad. We did actually transmit our show to several. Remember whenever Philip Lister was piping us out to the Muslim and atheist chats, and the moderators of those chats started getting death threats because of the things we talk about.
Oopies.
Because peace, right? Islam is the religion of peace. Let's see what Adrian has. I see. Let me get rid of that for the pin.
Christianity is a religion of peace, allegedly.
Chris, those Jews had broken peace treaty and wanted to kill Muslims with the help of pagans. All right. They were given punishment according to Torah. Children, women, and old were spared. All right. I don't remember specifically about the children, women, and old. I would have to look into that. But still, first of all, you're the prophet of God. God can harden hearts. God can soften hearts. To line up between 600 and 900 people unarmed and kill them, where's your God there? Second of all, that Muhammad didn't have to do it himself. There's no reason for him to do it himself personally, but he did. He chose to do it himself personally. I just feel like, and that's as far as we're going to go on the Muhammad thing. I don't really normally cover the Muhammad thing because my knowledge about it is small. And again, I always go to right to the there, and then they go to, that's not true, that's not in there, but it is in there. It's in there. Go look for yourself. Don't listen to me. I'm just some jackass on the internet. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Let's check our poll. Do you want to check the poll? Hey, Ryan, you want to look at my poll?
Show me your poll.
All right. So with my poll, the question of the day is, which biblical action makes God seem more like a pit demon than a wise, loving father? Okay. Options are drowning virtually all humanity. I don't have to explain what story that's from. 15% of the people. Yeah, 15% of our 40 voters have chosen that. Ordering genocide has got 28% of the vote. And in that, it actually says various commands because it happened several times where the God of the Bible has ordered genocide, man, woman, and child. I'm just saying, that's your God, people. Number two is getting 10% of the vote, demanding brutal animal sacrifices. Now, of course, the God creature doesn't demand those animal sacrifices anymore, right? That's what Jesus' sacrifice was for. So you wouldn't have to sacrifice. Yeah. So Jesus, though, there's two prongs to the sacrifice of Jesus. One is you don't have to sacrifice any animals anymore. Two, you get to keep your dick flesh. These are that's really the two. Jesus sacrificed himself for your sins, so you don't have to do the one. And now, so we can get more Gentile, you don't have to cut off your that's right. Is that not the basis of what? Yeah. So I'm just saying.
But now there's Third Temple Judaism.
Really?
And you do need sacrifices. So it's coming back around.
Yeah. Tawhid said he did exist. There are so much proofs. Tawhid, there may be proofs that he existed. And just because he existed does not mean what he said was true. In fact, if you actually go back and read about Muhammad and the circumstances and what happened with him, a lot of it was like delirious reading out this, like he was having either symptoms of early onset dementia or he was on some kind of hallucinogen. There are so many better ways that we can explain what happened with Muhammad based on the story, his own story about the headaches and the pains that he had, than God actually talking to him. And there's this notion that the Quran is unedible, unchanging, all of that, but they have edited it. They've edited a lot, often. So there are these misunderstandings that the average, I feel, Muslim doesn't know. And of course, I'm an ignorant atheist who doesn't know shit. So
I think most people aren't very versed in their religion.
I think that's true. I think that's true. A lot of it you want to ignore. You don't actually address those hard questions. You know, Mary was a virgin. Did God ask her if she was willing to I mean, or did God rape Mary? These are weird questions, you know.
You can't consent to a God. There is no such thing as consent with a God.
That's asking, like, did Hagar consent? Could she not consent? Did Aisha consent? Did she have the choice to consent? She was 6 years old when they got married, 9 years old when they did the thing. Did she have a choice? No. Would they have listened to her voice had she said no? Very much doubt it.
I mean, even if Mary was a 30-year-old divorced woman, I mean, maybe she'd have been, I would be like,
maybe,
yeah, let's like knuck if you buck. I'm ready to get down. But still, when it comes to a God, can you really say no? What happens when you disobey God?
You know, going back to Muhammad, just for a moment, there was a woman he desired. So he killed her husband so he can marry her. Stabbed him in the heart, if I remember right. It's been a long time, but specifically, he wanted that woman and killed her husband so he could have her.
Sounds like David.
So, yeah, I mean, you know what we do here in our business here in Christianity? It would be so much easier in Islam. Deadlier, more likely to get you unalived by the people who you're talking about. But anyway, ex-Christian. Yes, 100%. The Christian cult of demon worship. Oh, hey, thank you, ex-Christian. Thank you for joining us. All religious cults are demon worship. Yeah, based on the description of the God of the Bible. Yeah.
That case you could make that case.
You could hardly see it I mean, based on the Bible we read, you know, I think there are cases where if you go back far enough and you look at the original intent, there is benevolence there. And I love thinking about that with Ashera.
Mm-hmm.
And those other earlier incarnations that weren't just the God of war. So there were a whole bunch of gods, a god for this, a god for that, a god for this, a god for that, and then there was a god for war. And that god for war went around killing and its followers around killing all the followers of all the other gods. And that's Islam. That's what happened in the temple. They used to have in Mecca, they used to have all the gods represented around the center. And Muhammad, Allahu Akbar, God, their God was one of those many. But as their followers gained strength and his message of, convert or death, all their gods got wiped out. Now you can't have any other gods. You can't even have atheists at all in the city of Mecca, right? Is that right?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
No, it's a long story. It's complicated. We don't normally talk about it. Did we get a subscriber or a death threat or I saw something happen?
Channel supporter.
Oh, awesome sauce. Thank you. Let me see here. I've just been going on about myself. And normally I don't talk about Islam because I go right for the juggler.
Yeah, you do.
We're jugglers.
You go hard real quick.
I do. Yeah. Well, it's one of those things though, really, for me. It's like Christianity they've got such a layer of trying to be peaceful. Saying they're peaceful while stabbing you. We're peaceful. We're peaceful. Right here in my own grill. And that's usually what I address. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like to be gaslight. Just be honest.
Yeah.
Just be straightforward with your goals. Yeah. meet me on that level, and that's where I'll meet you.
And that's something else like I feel about a God, an all-knowing God who has the power that is claimed by these people should know that the things done in its name back then by it were not moral. We know they're not moral now. If they're not moral now, yeah. Right.
Why,
they're like, back then it was okay for things like that to happen because it was a different time. A different time doesn't excuse an all-knowing God who knows the beginning from the end. His
Most
morality
definitely.
should be eternal and unchanging.
Yeah. And they say God doesn't change, but he obviously did. Because he
Yeah,
went from
over and
being-
over again.
He went from being prescriptive on how you keep enslaved people
Yeah.
to now allegedly he's against slavery. I'm not sure what scripture they use, but
I don't think they use any scripture to, do they? I didn't know
I
they
don't
did.
know.
That they're,
That's
we
head
got a
scratcher.
lot of scriptures that say they're for slavery.
Mhm.
We've got scriptures where God sold his own people into slavery. He's like, these are the Hebrews. I'm going to sell them to the Canaanites because they've been bad. And so 40 years they lived in slavery to the Canaanites. So he's enslaved his own people. Then he wrote in his religious book how his people should enslave other people. This is how you treat your slaves. You have them for this long, you know, all kinds of
Yeah.
things, lots of rules for about what you do with your
They
slaves.
eat them like within an inch
Right.
of their life.
As long as they don't die within a few days. You can
Yeah.
have, if it's a Hebrew, he can only be a slave for 7 years.
Yeah.
have to
With
release
your own
them.
people, there's like very
Right.
specific rules.
Unless it's a woman. A woman, they don't have that 7-year rule.
Yeah.
The Hebrew man, if he marries a woman that's one of your slaves and has a child from her, they don't get to leave with him. So he has to either stay with them or give up his family after 7 years. This is the rules that they set out. This God creature set out. And then the New Testament, Jesus came along and said, slaves, obey your masters as you would obey Jesus. Did Paul say that? I think Paul says that, doesn't he? Somebody says it. They say it several times.
I forget. I do not recall at this moment, but yeah, it's said. That's all I know.
Yeah. Top Weed says just 8 years at 1400 years ago. I don't know that that's a good argument. And you know, really that's a complicated subject as far as I don't think 8 years old is any better than 6 years old. Now, what are you talking about? Are you saying 8 years old is when she consummated the marriage? I don't think that's very good. Really, to be honest, there's a prepubescent and a post-pubescent situation. I'm going to speak plainly. In the animal kingdom, once an animal is able to have children, it is so it's actually physically capable, maybe not necessarily mature enough, but physically capable to have a child. For humans, that happens around now, for girls, around 11 to 13, somewhere in there, right, Brian? And that when they first start having their first things, their first women's things. Anyway.
Oh, period or menstruation or whatever.
Now, you can look back historically, and I believe the average age of a woman's first menstruation in the late 1800s was about 16 to 17. Health, nutrition, these sorts of things. And a lot of it being the hormones that the women ingest nowadays and the chicken and other things that women like to eat. There's a lot of hormones that are put in there that also affects these things. So when you're talking about a 6 or an 8-year-old, you're literally talking about a child. When you're talking about a 12 or a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old, you're technically talking about a young adult, probably within the age of breeding. And we as a civilized society have determined that that's too young for them to mentally and emotionally deal with having sex, but they're physically capable. So it's one thing I'm just saying, whenever the whole notion about Muhammad going after a 6 or an 8 or a 9-year-old, especially back then when they didn't have the health, the hormones going through them. So I just think that's not a good argument at all. Very bad, very bad. Less than good. If good were over here. Not a good argument for Muhammad at all.
If there's a God and he's conversing with people and they're writing down what he says, then what's stopping him from being the moral God he is today? Like, why is his morality, like, why are the lines so blurred back then? Why is it acceptable?
Yeah.
And not now?
It's John Hudson, HR calling. No doubt.
That's fine.
That's just kind of my thinking. That's with Muhammad. Now, Jesus, if he was real, what much better? I mean, when they went to get Jesus from the Garden of Gethsemane, he was up there praying alone,
Oh,
And yet, when they went to get him, a young man with only a loincloth was with him and ran away. So you can be as homophobic about that as you want, I guess.
maybe Jesus was giving him a massage.
Maybe he was giving Jesus a massage. I don't know. Jesus may have been a bottom. You never know. I'm just saying.
It is a strange story, though. I just don't understand the purpose of him being with a young boy late at night in a car. I don't understand that.
Taoism says comparing 15-year-old of tribal culture to metropolitan is not wisdom. That's true. We're not comparing a 15-year-old of tribal wisdom. We're comparing an 8 or 9-year-old. You saying somehow that being 8 or 9 back then equates to being 15 now, that's not true. That's very wrong. Very wrong. Yeah. So we're not, what you're talking about, we're not actually talking about that. That's not what we're talking about. Sorry, go ahead, girl.
I was just saying I was just trying to understand what evidence he has that there's a comparison of a 15, like that back then it would be like a 15-year-old there. Like what evidence do we have?
And even still, I mean, one of the things is that this is the prophet, that these people, the pinnacle example of who they are to be. And he married a 6-year-old. This is not a good example. I'm just saying, let's see what our response is. Oh, you're saying Mother Aisha was 15 years old at the time of her marriage. I think you're wrong. I think you should look into that. Yeah, I really do. And let me ask you, if she was 15 years old, why would he marry her? Muhammad was 56. Why would he marry a 15-year-old girl?
Why would you want to have kids at that age?
Why would you want that? Yeah.
No way,
now,
man.
Either way,
retired.
Mm-hmm. SpongeBob Science says, Chris Mallard, why is it always you two? I thought that's what they said. Did somebody block them out?
No, they retracted it for some reason.
Oh. Let me see over here.
Maybe.
Well, hello. Why is it always us? I don't know, because we're cute. Somebody saw our commercial. I had family here. They saw our little postmortem, and they thought we were in the same room when we made it.
I said it was done very well. Like the lighting was, that's so hard to get right. The lighting is the worst part. That giveaway.
Yep, but we did good. Let's see. She was 6 at the time of marriage and 9 when she consummated it. That's what I always thought too. So I don't see, I mean, even giving you, so you're saying in secular law countries, 2 adults can't marry. I didn't say that. You're making shit up now. You're just poorly defending the position of your pedophile prophet. I say that because we've established, I mean, he was in his 50s. She was at best, I'm just saying, at best 15. At best. And another thing I heard, 15 is an apologetics standpoint. That's at best. They actually made 15 up because the truth was too bad. So I'm just saying. Yeah. And but then again, at best, 15 years old. Why would a 56-year-old? There's lots of women. He's actually, at this point in his life, he's the leader of a tribe. I don't want to say a cult. It's a tribe. He's a, what do you call him? A tribal warlord. That's literally what he is a tribal warlord. He could have any woman he wanted, but he chose that little girl over there. He could have any woman he wanted. He chose that man's wife over there and then killed that man for her.
Yeah,
I think Islam is just a very,
It just sounds like a normal guy. Sounds like a normal prophet to me. And when I say that with sarcasm. It just sounds like some guy off the street. Nobody special. Nobody doing anything of honor, or trying to set some kind of example. Just a dude who got into power and is using God as a shield and a weapon.
Mother Aisha agreed to prophet. Now, listen. She wasn't a mother. She was a kid. She was at best 15. Let me ask you, Tawhid, how old are you? Are you older than she was when she was taken? I suspect you probably are. And I think it's kind of weird that you call her mother, but everybody thinks of her as a little girl. I don't think of her as a grown-up woman. Does anybody in the chat think of her as a woman? No, she's a child, Aisha. Little girl. And like Ryan said, you cannot consent to sex to a god. He was a prophet of their religion. She's not going to say no. There's no way. And even if she, I'm going to run a commercial. Let the solar people in, and we'll wrap it up when we get back. I'll be right back in just a minute. So what should we do?
Next up in the bark bank, a clergyman with a holy hustle and maybe a few unholy loopholes.
Hi, Barks. Blessings and belly rubs to you all. I'm Father Flanagan, and today I'm here seeking $50,000 for 3% of my soul-saving startup, Holy Halos, the world's first, soon-to-be, church-approved condoms. Following the ways of the Lord can be hard and often require sacrifices of the flesh. Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of Holy Halo condoms.
Hold on, Father. The church very much doesn't like condoms. How do you expect to sell these?
Well, you're right, but these aren't just any condoms. No, my furry financiers, these are permeable. But every single halo has been dipped in holy water, a divine divider between you and sin. You can finally frolic freely and still keep that sweet spot in heaven. Permeable, but dipped in holy water to keep the sin out, but let the babies in.
Let you get your stick wet without getting your stick stuck.
If you know what I mean.
Oh my! Very embarrassing every time.
So basically they don't work as condoms, but they let you get away with having sex without going to hell?
Exactly. The church gets to keep making babies, but you don't have to keep going to confession. Think of it. No more guilt. No more awkward "I'm saving myself for marriage" speeches. With Holy Halos, you can take those pray hands and turn them into lay hands.
Didn't I read that holy water is full of bacteria like E. coli? Won't this be harmful to women's health?
The words are English, but I don't understand the question.
How are you addressing the issue holy water presents for women's health?
Again, I'm not understanding.
She does that. Well, we don't get it either.
Is that mesh from a window screen?
Ah, that's a keen eye you have there, young lass. Yes. Another fine selling point, rough on the outside to increase her shame, as it should be, but soft and smooth on the inside, internally lubed and ribbed for his pleasure. We even have custom scents.
Scents? Now you have my attention. What flavors we talking? Don't pitch me that vanilla missionary nonsense, Padre.
Well, we do have virgin vanilla, but we also have miracle mint and cooing camel, and my personal favorite, sweat of the Savior.
And the Vatican, they've blessed this endeavor?
Well, not exactly. I'm still waiting on the papal decree one way or the other.
I love it, but you're asking 50 grand for only 3%. That's rough, Father, real rough.
Not running with the big dogs on this one. I'm gonna stay on the porch.
Me too. Good luck, Father. 15%.
Ouch, 15%, that's highway robbery even for the church.
Come on, Father, we're dogs. We know a bone when we see one. 10%, and we'll even bless your branding.
Look, meet me in the middle, 7%, and I'll baptize all your puppies.
7% works for me. Father Flanagan, it looks like
Wait a second, our producers say we have a special call-in bidder. Let's get him up on the screen. Folks, we have the guardian of the sacred fire hydrant himself.
Oh no.
Defender of the holy tennis ball and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poops a Lot the Fifth.
Flanagan!
Yes, you pooped him.
50,000 at 20%.
20%?
And you get to keep calling yourself a father.
Sold to the pup in the very fine hat.
I knew you'd see it my way.
You're very wise, your hiney. Would there be anything else?
You may leave.
Father Flanagan's line of holy halos, ultra thin, spiritually thick. Available in 3 sizes: conservative, medium, and liberal.
All right, we're back. Guys, I got the solar people here. My dogs are just going to keep going off, and I got to go out there and get them squared away. So I'm going to go do that thing. Ryan, thank you for joining us again. I want to really quickly read our super chats. I had them up here on the screen. Damn it. Yes, I did. We had one for $2, and it was something really cool. Oh, there it is. I see where it's at now. Fan funding. And we had Godwin for $2 said, as a sci-fi fan, have you seen his Dark Materials? I have not, but I'm going to check into it. Sorry, it's just going on. And then thank you, Katie Bluebird, for becoming a channel supporter. We very much appreciate you. Brian, I'll see you tomorrow for Sci-Fi Friday. Everybody else have a safe week tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Send safely, my friends. Take care.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace. From your living room to the kitchen sink.
Crazy. All right. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I'd already shut my shit down, so you can see it's all messed up. Thank you to I saw it here. Sorry. I'm kind of panicking as I'm figuring out what's going on. It was all shut down. Thank you for the super chat. Don't tell me. No, I got this one. Dogs. Chick Mechnate, thank you for the super chat. I did see it. I didn't notice it. I even highlighted it there. His Dark Materials, a trilogy by Pullman, is a great read. I'm going to copy and paste. Thank you all, guys. See you later. See you tomorrow.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a hole. the tone. Confession booths, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goats, the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace. From your living room to the kitchen sink,